Join Dalton and Jacob as they discuss the ever-changing world of trading card games. TCG Buzz starts now.
What's up, Buzz Squad? It's your boy Dalton, back at it again with the Ginger Jacob.
Yo.
Okay, that was kind of a really awkward yell.
Yeah, because I was leaning over here. I'm like, I'm off center.
So today, we're going to be talking about Hero World. You know, our thoughts and stuff, and some of you chat, you know. You guys brought up some points, and maybe some forgotten archetypes that we forgot about.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Because, you know, that's one of the things.
What do you guys think about our new backdrop thing we're doing? Let us know.
It looks better on mine, so, you know.
Yeah.
Giving that a heavenly glow.
They're asking about you shaving.
What, you guys didn't see the deck profile from yesterday? Talking about that baby face Dalton? Yes, I shaved, but, you know, it's coming back. It's coming back. Don't worry. It will be back. It will be back sometime.
Yeah, so if you guys like this experiment we're doing with our backdrops, let us know, and we'll keep doing it. And if you think it's trash, we might get rid of it.
We won't get rid of it. Dalton will force it.
I kind of like it.
I just wish we had a different backdrop to make it look better. But that's besides the point.
Well, that's something we could maybe, work on, and
No, from our
look at that. We're both
Patreons and super chats. I like that setup. You know, that was a good set. You know, for me to spike it down.
Please stop.
What, you don't like sports references?
No,
I use volleyball.
that's like my worst sport.
Not surprised. Not surprised. So enough stalling. Let's just kind of get into it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, so this is what I want to do to start it off. Let us name every single attribute. I know you're going to hate this. And the one thing that we think it is lacking in right away, and then we can get into everything.
Okay, hang on. Every attribute or deck?
Well,
because Hero World gets
archetype, I guess. We'll go archetype. How about that?
Archetype or deck? Because Hero World gets weird.
I'll name them off, and, you know, we'll go from there. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
We're going to forget some. Fair warning. There are a lot.
No, they'll let us know. They'll let us know. Brave machines.
Generic Brave machines like Kaiserion are cool.
Yes, this is true, but I said something that they lacked. You know, not
Cards.
new support. That's definitely true. You know, new support would be nice.
New support that's not like a walled garden like battle buildings are, where you're not mixing them with the older stuff.
Fair, but I also see Brave machines being the initial wall. So now keeping them as the wall would be nice. You know, maybe get battle buildings off the whole walling concept.
I'd like some big walls out of them because, like,
exactly
when they first came out, they were the wall deck. You know, Kaiserion.
Exactly. It'd be a cool thing. You know,
Kaiserion could punch, but he also took punches.
Exactly. It'd be cool. Superheroes, and we'll start off with generic superheroes. We'll get to Quartet 5.
I don't even know what you could do with them.
All right, so
honestly,
Quartet
'cause, like,
5. We'll just
Quartet 5. Just what number are they missing?
Are they still missing 5?
I think it might be 5. They're missing some numbers.
I think they're still missing 5, which they need.
The problem with generic superheroes is, like, they're not generic. They're
generic.
Yeah, in a weird way. Like, you've got the ones that focus on destroying opponents' monsters for effects.
Mm-hmm.
You've got ones that do nothing because there are tons of vanilla ones.
Fair.
You've got ones that should have been their entire own decks, like Captain Answer.
We'll get
that didn't get support.
We'll get there. Before I forget, card burn.
Card burn.
You know, you had the 3 and you fuse together and you become bigger, stronger.
Card burn's probably okay, honestly.
Yeah, probably. You know, maybe better resource scaling.
Size 7.
No.
Size 99.
No. Just more resource gaining.
Yeah,
I
a little
guess.
more consistency would be.
Obviously, very archetype specific, so you can't just splash it into everything else, but, you know, something like that. What's next? What? Rescue dragons.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The cards. Any type of win condition whatsoever.
Well, they were the initial board wiping deck.
Yeah, but you also had a lot of random ones that focused on healing. You had that one who, like, every time he attacked,
Well, that's because you would
a
take
card.
because you would take damage. You know, that was the whole point. So, like, what would you say? Just more of a focus on the whole board clearing, or?
I didn't even remember that was their play style. So what does
that
that
was
say?
that was Drum's thing, because you had Prominence Burst that would gain +1 crit each time a monster on your field would attack and destroy a monster. So you'd always gain 3, and then you had the revamped versions of each. So yeah, you know, maybe.
I mean, I guess they did get a new drum.
And Prominence Burst, it was Sonic though. There we go.
Oh,
Because Sonic was the first one, but it never really lasted that long in the deck. It was like, hey, I'm here. Oh, Prominence Burst.
let me think.
Maybe a way to counter call stuff to your opponent's side of the board to keep
Maybe.
going.
Let's keep going. We got to keep
Okay.
naming.
Okay.
Dark Heroes.
Better Swartz.
Ooh, interesting.
Because when they initially came out, Swartz was OP. Then he fell off face of the earth, and the new one was it was cool. And then the Impact one was cool, but like it didn't really do much for you. That's what I can see. Let's see here. This is a hard one. Let's go Battle Poets, just because chat keeps bringing it up.
Like, Battle Poets were like size 3 focused, right?
Yep.
And do they have like a discard thing going on?
Yes,
Kind of.
Kind of.
They were kind of generic, like size 3. I remember them being really cool because I liked their naming structure, but
Mhm.
their gameplay did not seem very unique to me.
Fair. I could see that.
So maybe, separate them out a little bit more from other size 3 decks
Make
out
them
there.
pop, because when Chad initially put Battle Poets into chat, Jake was like, "Oh yeah, they exist." Wow, this is actually getting harder. I thought I could rattle them all off, but I can't. Let's just go.
Droids.
Droids. Yeah, droids. What were they a parody of? Chat, do you know? Because I know I don't know.
Didn't they have an impact that like you had to mill droids
Yes.
out of your deck? They need more droids because I want that to be the focus of the deck. Give them support to search out the impact, because I think a impact burning cycling deck would be really cool for Euro World.
That would be neat. It would definitely be neat.
Say
Ride
that.
changers.
Oh, you first. Ride changers.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're Transformers based. They're kind of like battle buildings, very much in gameplay. Battle buildings are essentially a retrain of them. They are really, really bad. They have aged very poorly. So hear me out. Give them beast transformations. Because Beast Wars.
Okay. I was gonna say just get rid of their life break,
That would be a big help. Or at least give them,
or a better way to stabilize.
some
life.
some more consistency would be really good. Like another searcher card, because right now you only have one of them.
Mhm.
And it checks the top 5. It doesn't actually search.
This is true.
You can always run Call Super Machine, though.
This is true. And what was the archetype that you were gonna say?
Zeta.
Zeta.
Oh my god, there are so
well,
many.
I guess Zeta just needs more impact monsters to be released, because that's one of the weird ones for Hero World, because that one can always come back into it, just depending if we get impact monsters in general. Because I think we probably got all the best Zetas we could get out of it.
On the record here, we should get more impact monsters.
Yes, we should. Maybe a new gem clone, something better. Because SD was lit, but like, I feel like we need another one.
Honestly, I think the Zeta engine's fine.
Mhm.
I think it's the impact monsters that are lacking.
Impact, and I think maybe gem clone's a little lacking for it. Outside of obviously it working with the Buddy Zone. Bushi, do more cards like that. Superheroines.
Maybe a new Mass Vantage? I don't know.
I think
if
there's
you
only
get-
2.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 or 3.
And the original is kind of expensive, so maybe a reprint of that too.
Reprint or
I mean, it's a
retrain.
double rare that's quite pricey from Buddy
Mhm.
Rave.
This is true.
I know because I pulled it in the Buddy Rave unboxing I did. Look at that plug I did.
That plug is great. Yeah.
I mean,
Basically, new Mask Vantage. That's what
we don't need more blazer frills.
I don't even think we really need more frills. I think we just need another Mask Vantage and maybe something else to keep going. Computers.
Netman.
Hetman.
Support in general.
Support in general.
Yeah, because
It only had the one.
it's basically the only big deck out of X that hasn't gotten any legacy support whatsoever. That and Mother Dragon.
Droids didn't get support. No, Droids.
They're from Triple D.
That was from Triple D. My bad.
But yes, droids need more stuff too.
Yes.
But
we have reasons on why that doesn't happen.
particularly, I like to see the Netman deck get one more fan servicey stuff for. So I don't want just retrains of Netman. I want some of the other like Robot Master parodies from Mega Man. But 2, I really like their theme of using computer lingo and stuff for their spells. So
That's
maybe
pretty cool.
give us a couple more of those. That would be really fun. I'm sure they could think of tons of them. And they desperately need a way to force their burn damage through against decks that, reduce damage and stuff, kind of like what ECs have now.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Let's see here. Guardians. Because I want to save the best archetype in my eyes for last.
Guardian's got a really awesome set spell.
And yet, in my opinion, the deck is complete and utter trash.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. When they initially came out, they were cool, even though they kind of ripped off from a different archetype that we'll get to. And, they did it better at the time, but then they aged horribly.
that set spell is really good, though. Like, really, really
That
good.
set spell is really good, but I feel like they need more Guardians. Or maybe, I don't know, another Searcher?
I mean, with the fact that, there's this massive crossover of fans in the Buddyifight community and the Common Rider community, you'd think we'd get more of that kind of stuff. But we don't. And that's kind of seems like a no-brainer to me.
Right.
Before we get to the one I know you're saving, I'm trying to think of any others.
Don't worry, I'm thinking of that.
I mean, we
never did battle buildings.
Yeah.
Battle buildings, more support, honestly.
Yeah, their monsters are good. They could use an extra,
Like
some
another
extra
spell.
resource cards. I
Yeah.
think. Because they've got one which is good. Their main playmaker spell is very good, but their only other big resource card is a nullify.
Yep.
That feels bad. Mats.
They need another defensive weaponry, in my opinion. They just need something like that because they were fantastic when they were released. They lasted for a good long while and then fell off the face of the map.
Cosmo Man.
He did get recent support. He wasn't doing as well as what he was doing in Japan when he initially was released, but he's still fairly good. But definitely could use something else. I don't know what though.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck on that one. He's so close to being good, it actually makes it harder to, say what he needs. Because he's this close to being meta relevant. He's an okay rogue deck. I guess the big problem with Cosmo Man is, and they kind of fixed it with the retrain of him, is playing Cosmo Man feels like playing a lot of other aggro decks without very much unique about it.
Right.
But that new one with his static damage reduction and everything is really cool.
I'm surprised we didn't see that many at regionals though. I think we got through all of them except for the one that I wanted to save for last.
Guys, can you think of any others?
Otherwise, let's get into Geigrander.
Also, I'm going to say, yeah, let's do Guy Grander, and then we'll catch any we missed if we missed it.
Right. Geigrander. Just such a great archetype. I love it. Just so fantastic. What I think it needs is maybe its own personal spell null. Maybe giving it a rip-off version of a danger spell null. Because I think that would be pretty neat, you know? I don't know what you'd think about that, but, you know.
Maybe something that probably some anti-rest effects would be good.
That would be awesome. Anti-rest. What else? What else?
More cards. Where's
No.
that guy Grander 05?
It's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. But I don't know if we need more Guy Grander cards himself. Maybe more Gauge Gain. Gauge Gain is
I guess I would consider Kaiserion a separate thing from generic battle buildings at this point, because we do have a couple cards that specifically work on it.
The deity, not battle deities. Are they the animal deities? I know that for sure. I know they're all fancy animal names and so forth.
So just more stuff in general for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kaiserion's definitely a fan favorite. Like, Hero World in general is a fan favorite thing. Everyone loves at least one Hero World deck. It's kind of how Hero World works, and you've got some hardcore Hero World fans. The big point with this, though, with us going over every single archetype is, oh my god, there are so many of them.
This is true. There is a boatload of those.
And that's not considering stuff that kind of counts, but kind of doesn't. All the gray area ones, which there are plenty of.
Like, obviously, I guess, plain Brave Machines and plain superheroes, because, as you saw, you can branch them all off into their own little clusters and so forth. Definitely has some stuff. And the ones that never got their own decks. You want to go into that next? The two major cards, or I guess archetypes, that never got their own deck that should have gotten their own deck.
Sure, you hit up the one that you want to hit up. Then I'll hit up the one I brought up before we started. You know what I'm talking about?
When did you? I know this.
You first. Just do yours.
Takusuke, man.
Oh, that was mine.
Oh. Awkward?
Oh my god, I am so upset we did not get a full alien themed deck. That is so upsetting to me.
Like, we had the setup. We had a decent number of Takusukes. We had the 2 spells, right? They have 2 spells? Because you have Wacky Beam.
Even though they're kind of unrelated, they're very clearly meant to be a part of that.
Right.
But a full alien-focused archetype that Takasuke could have been a part of, that probes the opponent's hand for information.
Oh, would have been. Wait a minute. They would have just been fused together.
Oh, we forgot about Satsuki.
Oh! Sorry, Christian. Battleships.
With their sub-archetype of crew troopers.
Yeah.
I don't know, for a deck that's a season old, they're pretty decent.
I honestly can't think of anything myself off the top of my head. This is kind of why we wanted Christian here, because maybe he could give us his insider notion. But maybe a better well, you don't really need a backup Satsuki since you have 3 Satskis.
There are tons of Satskis. I don't know. I think their gameplay style is really good. It's spamming out multiple monsters and all that, and then popping them back in and out and in and out and in and out. In a little way, it's kind of related to Oni's in that direction.
Kind of.
But Satsuki doesn't have a good win condition. I really don't think.
Well, it was kind of in the era of multi-attacks for win, so hence why that kind of works. So, I don't know. Maybe we have to see how the new Satsuki is going to do and see if maybe Satsuki battleships do rise up again. Because, they've kind of done that where they came out, did well for a little bit, then fell off. New Satsuki came out, they did well again, and then kind of fell off. So maybe they're okay? Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Answer.
Captain Answer is a big one. He didn't need necessarily his own archetype, but he definitely needed his own support. Yes. And for a moment, he was pretty meta with, what was it, Captain Answer Overload? Evil version?
Yep, the evil version.
That was really cool.
Really?
But we needed actual support cards for that.
Mm-hmm. We definitely did. Even though you can probably argue that Captain Answer and Takasuke could have worked so well together, because Takasuke, we're going to look at your hand. Captain Answer, now I'm going to call this, and then I'm going to get my effects.
I really like Captain Answer's idea of needing prior information, either about your opponent's hand or about your deck or whatever.
Right.
And they could have easily made that into a big top deck stacking deck.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
And they didn't really. Like, I know new people running that one stupid generic item that lets you put cards, like stack them. It's really bad. Don't run it.
I don't know which one you're talking about, so it doesn't matter. What else are we missing? I think that basically covers the only two that really didn't get their own.
Ironing Man.
Oh, where's the rest of our Avengers?
Holy crap, that would be so cool. Like, obviously, you have to be careful with it. Because,
right.
legal stuff, it's Disney.
You can get away with Ironing Man.
Or at least give us if you can't do that because of legal reasons, at least give us a solar panel man, like, team. Like, make him the Justice League.
That'd be cool. Or I was thinking maybe you can do,
like, they could be...
Since Ironing Man is a superhero, maybe you can make Hulk as a droid.
They should all be, like, eco-themed. You could have like a wind turbine one.
No, because that would be what's his name? The whole world-saving show. Captain Planet. There we go.
Captain Planet. Yeah.
That's what Solar Panel Man reminds me of.
Oh, that would be kind of cool, actually. So the thing is, Hero World is the parody world, and it's great. It is the nerd culture world, and it's awesome. But that leaves so many things up that we'd love. I have forever wanted a kaiju archetype. Where is our kaiju archetype?
That would have been neat. I'd love to see a little Godzilla. Maybe that could have been worked into Takasuke's deck. Who knows? Who knows? Major point.
Yeah.
Where is our Omnilord Captain Answer?
I knew that was coming.
Where is my Omnilord Captain Answer? Come on. Like, you don't tease that hard just to never release it.
Literally every time there's Hero World support or Omnilord support, we think it's going to happen, and it never does.
Bushi. Please, just... I don't even know if I care if it'd be good or not. I just want it that badly. Should it be good? It should be decent. But I want that Omnilord Captain Answer. And that might even pull the deck together. Oh, it just needs to happen.
Just give him an ability where, like, he gains all the abilities of Captain Answers in his soul.
Ooh.
So he can, like, check the top cards and check your opponent's hand and check this and check that. So if you miss one, you can get the others.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
So yeah, there are tons of, like, archetypes and ideas that they could do and haven't yet, which is what makes Hero World so exciting. Hero World's exciting because we don't know what's coming next. And Hero World has done a fantastic job of not being stereotyped where every deck feels the same. Like Dragon World, you've got tons of decks that are just, I am aggro deck. Hero World, of all the worlds in Buddyifight, has some of the best variety. And that's great. But there are some big problems we'd like to get into. Particularly, we just listed, 20-some archetypes. There are a lot of archetypes. And one of my fundamental points of this is their legacy support is crap.
Because most of the time, when they get support in the same season that they're in, or legacy support, it's typically the ones that have been featured in the anime. So now with the anime being canceled, or let me rephrase that. Coming back at some later time, we should hopefully get more support for decks. MATs, like one of my favorite decks, even though I don't play them anymore. I feel definitely needed like that other defensive weaponry. Guy Granders, more support, please.
Ace has been pitiful for
but they kind of said that at the same time.
In general, like we get the Ultimate Booster with 3 really cool new archetypes, all of them cool and with big potential. 2 of them do not get a single card after release, right? Neither Battle Buildings or Mats got any support. And I understand, like, right away not giving them more support because both were very strong. But at this point, they're tier 3 at best, either one of them.
If
and they
Build
can
it right.
really use more support,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not getting it. Cosmo Man was the worst of the three and desperately needed worst of the three at the time, and desperately needed more support. And it got like what 3 cards out of a set
Yeah.
that was focusing
Or
on
2 cards and
supporting
then
the
1
heroes.
promo. I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember 3 cards for sure though.
that's sad.
What's another one that had potential but they just threw off to the side?
A lot of them.
Like one that's more notable. I can't.
The-
Battle Poets. That one's pretty big. Like, sure they've gotten some good cards later on, but like, besides the fact that they don't pop out like the rest of them do to us, like, they needed more support to make them more potent.
The sad thing here is because fundamentally every deck in Hero World is a parody of something.
Mm-hmm.
They all have fans because, like, I love Transformers. Like, nerd culture wise, that's one of my favorite things. I love Transformers so much. So, like, seeing ride changers or battle buildings thematically themed off of that just makes me really happy. So I play those decks, and literally everyone has something like that, right?
This is true.
And the problem is because of the way card games in general, and especially Buddyifight works, those people are going to end up disappointed as their decks fade from relevancy to the point where they're virtually unplayable. Like, I whipped out my ride changers like a week ago, and I played a couple matches with them. And I'm like, this deck is so fundamentally aged, it cannot play against anything remotely newer. Like, it has to fight against decks of its time or older, or the game is not only unwinnable, but unfun.
That's true.
And part of the problem with that is Hero World has the weakest lineup of generic support cards in the entire game. And I know that's weird because you're immediately going to think, but what about its superhero time?
Don't.
What about hyper energy?
Don't get it twisted. They have great ones that they have in place already, but it's such a small pool, at least that we can think of off the top of our heads. Like, it's superhero time, or So the Dream I Had Went, or hyper energy, or. But it definitely needs a few more.
It's really sad because the list of long forgotten Hero World archetypes or Hero World decks that will literally never be good again is long. And, I can't say for certain which those are going to be, but there are definitely going to be some. I know people who would literally do a blood ritual to get new Netman support. I know people who would do that for Cardians. I know people who do that for Guygrander, Dalton.
Huh? It's not like
Ride changers for me. Everyone's got something like that. And Bushiroad can't make us all happy. It's just impossible unless you want Legacy Hero World support in every single booster set from now on. So,
And I guess that kind of leads into another thing. Like, the fact that they're an extra booster, like 99% of the time, except for like that one brief time period where Triple D was a thing and alternate boosters were a thing. That kind of hurts them at the same time because you always have to wait for the next extra booster in order for them to get support of any sort. And maybe with the random sprinkled in and like the Climax booster or the perfect packs back in the day. Like, maybe giving them a fleshed out set, instead of just a smaller set or so forth. Maybe you can fit more legacy support in for archetypes and so on and so forth.
some of my favorite main normal booster sets are ones that support Hero World. Granted, there are only a couple that do. Neo Enforcer's one. I forgot its name. Shine Super Sun Dragon is another one. The one that introduced Ball Soleil.
Yeah.
And had gem clone stuff. Those were awesome sets.
Mm-hmm.
I like when Hero World's in main booster sets. I
Right.
would do it at most once per season, but they should do it.
Roxas, I don't think they can do a Bermuda thing with Hero World because with Bermudas, you can kind of focus it down into like one thing where Hero World has this rainbow of things that it has to cover around. So it's like you can try, but no matter what you do, you will never succeed because you'll always miss something.
Which does make generic support hard, but I feel like Bushiroad doesn't even try. I mean, in the last booster set, their ultimate booster they got, the superhero Omega War whatever set, or whatever the last one was called. The one in Ace.
Superhero Wards
Ward,
Omega,
whatever it's called. The number of cards in that set that could be put in any deck is under 5.
If you have Futile, it's superhero time. That's all I got.
Exactly. If you can't support all of these sets with good, or all these archetypes with good legacy support, the least you can do is throw out some decent generic cards to at least keep them running a little, and maybe focus on just a few of them per year, maybe even just one per year.
Or better yet, like, if Ace would have done it where they introduced the 3 and the extra booster, and then kind of sprinkled in support for them throughout the year. Like, something like that. Kind of, yes, in the end, certain archetypes are going to fall off the face of the map, but at least you still kind of have that whole, these ones are going to stay relevant throughout their season.
Or maybe, next year, if you're doing a new ultimate booster for them, no new archetypes. Only legacy support, but give every deck a little bit of legacy support.
You get a little love, you know?
Granted, it wouldn't be good for new players. Unless, and we're going to hit on my next thought, look at this, you reprint cards. Because Hero World's reprints are awful.
Well, kind of. Because before It's Superhero Time and Brave Machine Hangar came out, their reprints were always fantastic because he always reprinted Hyper Energy and Call Superhero.
Okay, Call Superhero Machine only got 1 reprint ever.
No, I got 2.
No, it got 1.
2.
1.
2.
1.
2.
Fact check us.
I am dead set on 2, my guy. I am dead set on that.
Okay, but Hyper Energy's been reprinted 7, 8 times at this point.
At least once for each enemy deck.
We need a lot of reprints for Hero World, though. Like, a lot. Like, sure, the generic cards need reprints, but it would be really nice to get, in the next Ultimate Booster, at least one archetype where most of their key old cards are reprinted. Because they don't reprint key old cards in Hero World. The only thing you get reprints of are important staples for every deck.
Which, don't get us wrong, is nice, but we want more.
I want Takokichi as a reprint. I want a bunch of the other battle buildings as reprints. I want to see the very expensive cards for Mobile Area Team reprinted. I want to see old Ride Changer stuff reprinted. I want to see old card burn cards reprinted.
I'm trying to think of expensive MAT stuff, and the only one I can think of is the SP for the deck, and I think the rest of it's like at the most expensive $20. I don't know. That was a random thought, though. Very random.
Also, outside of Danger World, Hero Worlds is the only spell null that's never been reprinted.
Dang, you're right.
Magic Worlds got reprinted.
Mm-hmm.
Kachina Worlds got reprinted.
And then banned.
And then banned.
I mean, hit to 1. My bad.
Why hasn't it, or So the Dream I've Had win? That card's name's so awkward. Why has that card not been reprinted? Why is their Monster Null not been reprinted? One of the only 3 in the game. Maybe.
When did that? What set did that come out in?
Buddy Rave.
Oof. Buddy Rave.
And the other thing is, if you never open Buddy Rave, you probably don't know this, but Buddy Rave probably has the worst card stock in all of Buddyifight. So I've got foil copies of their Monster Null, and they just go.
Yeah, it looks about accurate right there.
So a reprint with some better card stock would be real nice.
Right.
Mass Vantage, despite being old, needs a reprint. Because, why is the original Mass Vantage, $7+ for a double rare from 2.5 seasons ago?
Because it's needed for the deck, why are Monster Nulls so underutilized? Because I think people forget about it, first off, because when they've been released, it was never really necessary. Because you're like, oh, that's cute.
They were too expensive, and the monsters weren't good enough.
That's true. That's true. Because in a sense, they're valued as a spell null. In a sense.
I firmly believe that at some point, monster nulls, just like how everyone slept on spell nulls for quite a while, and then they were everything. Like literally, the meta for quite a while was, "Do you have a spell null?" That's going to happen for monster nulls at some point. So your old season 1 copies of Be Gone, and your copies of So the Dream I've Had Went, or your copies of Antimatter Cloud.
That's spell null.
Oh yeah, what's the monster null name?
Prismatic. No, Plasma. Blast. No, not Blaster. Plasma something. I guarantee you that much. If anyone knows, please leave it in chat. But yes, definitely that. More monster nulls would be nice, you know. What's the other? Because Wider Skulls technically have one too. I bet you didn't even know that.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
What?
It is utter trash, but they do.
Really?
Because you need to have at least 2 Wider Skulls on board.
Oh.
And it has to be a size 3. Plasma Mine. There we go. Plasma Mine. Yeah, I'm just...
So our 2 big complaints so far have been more legacy support, more reprints,
and support
support, and new archetype. It's really telling when the thing we're asking for, regardless of what it is more.
Right.
There are worlds I'm sure we'll get to. The ones where we're saying, please, for the love of God, slow it down. Hero World's not one of them. We are not over Hero Worlded. Maybe with the number of archetypes, but that's okay. Some archetypes do have to retire at some point. You can't perpetually, support every single archetype you've ever released forever.
Yeah, because some of them hit their wall. Like Hardburn's a perfect example. It might as well have just hit its wall where it can't go any further.
And I'd be okay if they retired a few of them permanently, if we could get some good replacements for them. For example, I don't need new ride changer support because I have battle buildings, because they feel similar thematically and they feel similar gameplay-wise. They've made ride changers obsolete. I think they could do that again for some other ones. We don't need more cardboard support if they give us a more relevant deck like cardboard.
This is true. But there's some that you can almost never do, like Quartet 5, unless they get that 5th member, you can never stop that. And I have a feeling Bushi will never give us
I think
number
they
5.
have all their numbers now.
I think they do. I'm not sure.
But they do need a new retrain of mathematics, because he's awful and he was supposed to be their boss card.
Yes. Well, you can argue, what's his name? The combination one is their new boss card. If you remember which one that one is.
No. But I know who you're talking about, but not by name. I'm so frustrated with Hero World because it is definitely one of the best worlds in Buddyifight. Objectively, it's fun, it's got variety, it's meta-relevant most of the time. It's a good world. It's not over-supported, it's not really under-supported. It's just... the execution
oversaturated?
is not the greatest.
Oversaturated?
Maybe.
I think that would be a decent word to describe it. Oversaturated with archetypes or attributes or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of Karen stuff in the chat. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. What else did we talk about? There was something else besides that. Or was that all the major stuff?
I still want my kaijus. That's all I can think about.
I'm just double checking chat just to see if there's anything in there.
I'm torn with Hero World because it is one of the best worlds by far, but it's also one of the worst. It shouldn't be frustrating to be a fan of a world. And for the most part, I think Hero World does a good job, but I think the things we've already mentioned are the big problems. There are tons of little nitpicks for every world, but flavor-wise, Hero World's one of the best. I do think they've got a problem with releasing something because it's a parody that people might want, without thinking about how it would fit into Hero World,
Right.
if that makes any sense. But that's okay. Hero World can be the world for that. The problem is every other world's like that now too, where things are supported just because and they don't really fit into the actual world. But
Fair.
also, what happens when they do inevitably run out of things to parody?
I don't know. Maybe they never will. Because, I think we still need maybe a Star Trek thing or maybe Star Wars, because we technically don't have Jedis or Siths, unless you want to count superheroes and dark heroes as those.
I don't know why, but I really want like a Bakugan parody, but they're like giant balls. They're like giant circular mechs.
Cool.
Also, like my real favorite one. Everyone's got their favorite like mech related or robot related anime, and mine is Zoids, and we've never gotten anything for that. So get on that, please, Bushi. I will buy all of them.
Argument? The beast deities?
No, because those are more.
If they flesh it out.
Yeah, but they're more, Power Ranger Zoid-y. Like Megazord kind of.
I tried.
Yeah, I know.
I tried.
It's more about the aesthetic of them, man.
All right. Hey, do you guys have anything else that we could talk about?
Oh, I do have one more thing. Let's talk about the anime.
What about the anime?
Let's talk about the anime and about how fundamentally there's never been a Hero World character that mattered.
Wrong. Markuro.
So the guy who basically willed himself to be an Omnilord when he didn't need to be. And they retconned the number of Omnilords or whatever to make him one. Because at first, Captain Answer wasn't, mentioned to ever be one. And they're like, oh yeah, he happened to be one, so you can be one now too.
I guess you could say it's a retcon.
But
But
he had more important.
He had a very important thing with Gao, because he basically made Gao anti-Dragon World for a little bit, and then fixed him at the same time.
Like, they're all listing characters in chat, and honestly, like, if you took Buddyifight story and made it a cliff notes of it, a Wikipedia article even of it, none of the Hero World characters would be mentioned. Not a one of them.
Haruka would only be mentioned because of announcing, unfortunately. J Genesis you can't really count because his version was always multi-world. Zeta, if he would have focused on elemental Zeta.
Well, even then, he wasn't the villain of the season. He was pushed aside so we could have more Kyoya.
This is true.
How many characters from Hero World are truly important to the plot of Buddyifight?
Yeah. Without being like a little phase, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there are tons of like one-off characters from Hero World, who only appear a couple times, but none that really show impact. And it's not the only world that has that problem, but it's really egregious because there are so many good archetypes in Hero World they could do something interesting with. I'm not saying we definitely need the main character, the main protagonist, to be a Hero World player. But
even though he was for a little bit.
Technically, yes. I learned the word rescue.
Best scene ever. Trying to play it off. No, I didn't learn that word. But yeah, I see your argument. Like, none of them pose that significant of a change or anything like that.
No,
within the game.
And there are other worlds like that as well. And they like, we could really use a new trio, because they like to do trio as a main protagonist, Season 2 was a big one. You have the three Omnilord hunters, basically, between Gao, Tetsuya, and Zanya. Season 3 was Triple D. It was literally the three dragon worlds, right? Season 4, Tasuku gets placed by Kanata, and it just stays how it was.
Same.
Season 5...
You kick out Darkness Dragon World for Ancient World.
Yeah.
Season
maybe we could do that later on with maybe Hero.
What was Season 1's?
Probably Gao, Honestly, Gao, Tasuku, Noboru.
Dragon. Wait a minute. That doesn't add up. But
You guys are in chat. People are proving my point because they're trying to suggest when a Hero World character mattered, and they're digging like, oh well, Genma played Hero World this one time. You know,
doesn't count.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
even though we did get buff cap. Wait a minute, I got a problem with that. We got buff Captain Answer, but we didn't get Omnilor Captain Answer.
Also, I think it would have been really cool if like they had made Genma a Hero World player at least sometimes. Like Genma never shows up in the anime anyways, but I think that would have been cool. You know, kind of how Noboru moved to playing Dungeon World. Like I know it doesn't fit for him, but they could do something really interesting with that.
Yeah,
imagine Seeker as like a Robo Dragon,
or maybe him taking up Captain Answer full time.
That would have been awesome.
You know, maybe give Captain Answer that kind of Shazam feel.
I always get the impression, though, with Hero World characters, literally, like, I can't think of one, honestly, that didn't give me the impression this character was introduced to sell cards.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
It's basically been the case.
And there have been other characters like that from other worlds, but Hero World is really egregious with that. I mean, they introduce the guy who plays Ride Changes. I'm like, he's there to sell cards. They introduce the superheroine dude and Blazer Frill. I'm like, they're there to sell cards.
Yeah, it was really just Blazer.
I know that's kind of the point of the entire anime, but it feels particularly egregious with Hero World characters because Hero World characters have no depth to them whatsoever.
Which is weird from what they're parodying. You know, there's so much depth in what they parody, yet in Buddyifight, they have no depth. That's pretty deep.
What else do you have to say?
What else do I have about Hero World?
Yeah.
I think we basically got it all out there. You know? I can't think of anything right now. Can't really see much in chat that throws something into my head to be like, yo, we definitely need to talk about that. I think we've exhausted Hero World.
All right, then let's summarize the good about Hero World real quick. Let's go through that.
Fanboy World.
Which is a good thing. That is not a point against it. That's a point for it.
Yes. That's what we said. We started with good. Fanboy World. Fantastic.
Tons of variety and gameplay style.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the staple cards that are there are really good.
Yeah. That's good. This is really bad.
Here's a point. Hero World's actually usually a very good jumping off point for new players because generally their card support are all wrapped into one set.
This is true. You know, build your deck right away from there, and then kind of get a feel for the game, and then proceed off into other worlds.
And I think Hero World's probably the best world to draw in new players because I've known people who go, "What? The game has a Mega Man deck? I want it." And they start playing from that. In fact, I was talking to someone at our regionals who was basically playing for that reason and then ended up joining our Discord and talking about that. There are tons of people who get into it because they love Kamen Rider. There are tons of people who get into it because they love Gundam. Like, that's a great tool, and they should continue doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Bad stuff? Just execution, I guess. Like, honestly, the cards that we get are good. It's the cards we don't get that they're the problem.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. I guess it's off to the bad, huh? All the bad stuff or needs improvement. Would that be a better way to go about it? Stuff that needs improvement for Hero World? I'm going to rock with that. More legacy support. More generic cards. Not just limiting it just to spells.
Reprints,
which kind of fall into legacy support somewhat, but not really. When
was the last time Hero World got a trial deck?
They got.
Yeah, like right when they were introduced, they got one, right?
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It was
the
really
Quartet
bad.
the Quartet 5 one, right?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
Go back and look at that deck sometime. It's really bad.
Completely. See, another thing, like, so many things are so forgettable about it, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I think basically all I got. I don't know. I guess we should end her off before we just sit here in silence.
Yeah, I guess so. So in short, give us reprints, legacy sport, all that jazz. Give us a new trial deck. That would be fun. And maybe make a important Hero World character for the future.
That would be nice. That would be nice. You know, maybe Hero, Danger, and Legend World would be an interesting trio. I know it's kind of out there, but that would be an interesting
No,
trio.
I think that's kind of ideal, honestly. You get a good mix there.
No. I just know my worlds.
No, that's literally what I'd do.
So make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on when we do the next Our Thoughts on Worlds or next deck profile or things to those natures. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord if you want to continue this conversation or just have other random conversations. You can support us on Patreon or buy some things from our shop. All links are in the description down below. Jacob, final words.
Let us know what world you want to see next. We're trying to get through all of them. I did say we are saving Dragon World for last, and that we are not covering special.
I'm sorry, but CD commentaries, Avenger deck. I believe in you. Thank you for the super chat, man.
I want a Thanos card that you ride, and it gets rid of half your opponent's hand, gauge, field, drop zone, shuffles them all back into the deck. Let's go.
Yo, that would actually not that necessarily that broken, but a Thanos type of deck where your whole goal, maybe like a retcon win, you know, like
Perfectly balanced.
you search because you can only have one copy of each of the zones, and you have to do a specific thing in order to place them and all that, so you can fill your gauntlet. That would be your item, dude. We are thinking of new decks.
You know,
Ushi.
I have a question. What is life like in Hero World when there are so many heroes? Like, is there a normal guy named Jeff who's just like, actually, I want to be an accountant?
Dude, now I want Deadpool. Deadpool's X team. Just for the memes. The complete meme archetype. But above all else, because we're taking way too long to try to end this off. Stay classy, y'all.
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.